Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barry Robinson and friends, seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. Our show is also seen on Flint, Michigan Comcast Cable Channel 17 every Saturday at 6 p.m. and every Wednesday at 8:30. We're also viewed on Comcast Cable Detroit Channel 68 7 days a week. You can also view our own channel, RBRIMO. We're also accessible through YouTube and Facebook. I want to welcome our millions of viewers worldwide, but I especially also want to welcome our talented co-hosts. We have Miss Denise Smith Allen.
Hi, Ron.
Hi. We have Miss Jackie Williams.
Hi, Ron.
And we have Mr. Henry Hanna.
Ron, I want to miss everybody a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Same
you.
to our millions of viewers out there in TV land. We're going to revisit Flint water problems. Hundreds of citizens and visitors are getting sick. Doctors, offices, and hospitals are being overwhelmed by this tainted water. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, has determined Flint, Michigan drinking water may and will cause cancer and other debilitating health issues. As I've stated before, don't drink that shit. If you have reason to believe the water has caused you health issues, keep a complete record of hospital and doctor bills. What city or county official stated the water was drinkable. Hopefully a class action lawsuit will develop. All the citizens of Flint that are tied into this water system may want to withhold their water payments and put it into an escrow account. We have a special piece by one of our own, Miss Jackie Williams, about her issues with drinking Flint, Michigan water.
Thank you, Ron. On Wednesday of last week, I had experienced, I work in the city of Flint, and I generally drink the water. And I had poured me some water, and within maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I became very ill. My head started hurting. And I was reading the research, and what they were saying is that it does affect different health, but they don't know exactly. You have to notify your doctor. So I had to go home and lay down and make sure that I cleansed out my system. And I was better, but I now supply my own water through bottled water. I went to Sam's right away, and I was reading over some information, and I found it very interesting. When some of the information came out, it seemed like they would have changed some things, because when GM pulled out and you lost $4 million a year because it was causing corrosion to the new cars as they were testing them, it seemed like that would have kind of made you think, because even if it wasn't a big problem, I mean, if you didn't think that was big, that was a big problem, because that that hurt your profiting range and also your sources. And then I found out that the retail stores don't even have City of Flint water. Did you know that?
No, I
They
did
don't
not.
use the City of Flint water. So, so it's some people that are protected that we didn't know anything about. So now the emergency manager is calling for a consultant, I guess. He's calling for a consultant after months and months of boiling water and not being able to bathe in it, not being able to drink it. He's calling for a consultant to come to analyze, because so many times it has failed the water testing. So some reason they can't get it exact. And so to reconnect to the Detroit water system will cost almost $400 million, and then it will be $900,000 a month. Well, there's so many questions that we asked. I think Ron and I had previous conversation. Why did we disconnect if we didn't have these things in place in the first place? Because it's going to cost more than that when people start suing and these class action suits become real, because right now it's just in the preliminary stages. And when this information goes, like I said, it can cause cancer after so much. And people are getting sick, and they're having to turn the water off. And right now the water is still, the levels are very high. So it's still not being resolved. And now you're going to pay even more money to have somebody come in and look. Seem like these things should have been done at the beginning versus in the middle of the crisis.
I certainly agree with you, Jackie. And first of all, I'd like to say I'm really glad that you are up and about, okay? And and I'm hopeful that whatever was going on was just a bug, and your system has been able to cleanse itself. you know. But the thing that, you know, certainly is alarming, number one, you know, we all, as Flint residents, received this notice about the situation with the water. And it was alarming, to say the least, that you're telling us that, you know, it's drinkable, but there's some problems. Okay, so if it's, you know, drinkable, then there should not be the problems that they outline. So that goes back to the statement that you made about them. Why did not they look at all of the ramifications of disconnecting from the Detroit water system other than money? Because from what I could see, you know, the basis of that decision was about the money. Okay, and we were figuring that we would be able to have our system in place, but obviously it was not done. It wasn't done well. And so, you know, the people of the city of Flint are taxpayers, but they're suffering, and that just shouldn't be.
What are your thoughts on this, Mr. Hammond?
Well, if you had drink water in the United States, you had the best option going anywhere in the world. It's a great bargain. Water only costs less than $1 a gallon for us who live in the United States. It's unfortunate that I feel for your discomfort with Flint water. I knew that there were some problems with it. They were adding maybe 3 or 4 times the amount of chlorine to kill bacteria. And what caused the bacteria to be in the Detroit water, it was in Detroit water as well as in Flint River water, was that we had leakage in the piping. The piping is old, and it's and I don't think they ever pinpointed the exact sources of the bacteria in Flint Detroit water, but they thought that they could do better if they started up their old purveyor here in the city of Flint. And but they found out that the water still had bacteria in it, so they could not issue water to the Flint residents that had high levels of bacteria, because bacteria is incredibly more health provocative than say hazardous materials like lead and nickel and chrome and all of those heavy metals. So in order to combat the contamination from fecal coliform and stuff like that, they just added more chemicals to it to combat that. So that's the only thing that they can do for right now. They can reduce those levels, but what they want to do is make sure that you are not contaminated by bacteria, particularly those bacteria that cause severe harm to human beings. And and I believe that they will work out of this, but it will take time. Can you imagine the tremendous cost of operating that plant over there? It's in the millions of dollars. And Detroit also pays for the same kind of concern. And Detroit, although Detroit is enterprising because they are making the out of Detroit area residents pay a little bit more for the water, they can do that because they're the only ones that's manufacturing that water. And then they're distributing to other communities throughout the state of Michigan. And but when we have intrusion of groundwater into this that contains bacteria, it creates another problem. And they still have to work out of it. So I think that without causing a tremendous harm to the process, like class action suits, which can only cost residents more, but it was going to take all of us to work out of this problem. We can't do it politically. We're going to have to work out of it.
And then dozens of people, maybe hundreds of people die in the meantime.
Well, we don't.
Right.
There's no evidence of that.
Yes, there is, because the EPA has already stated. All right, they are the federal experts saying that it's drinking that Flint City water is cancerous.
Yes,
right, and
that's
will
true.
cause other health issues. Okay, what about the elderly people or the people that have that already have health issues.
They can drink bottled water.
Well, maybe they can't afford to drink bottled water.
If
That does. This is unconscionable. All right. To me, it's blind leading the blind. All right.
But
Okay?
Ron, you
not
gotta.
only is the mayor responsible, but that emergency manager is responsible,
Early.
and Governor Snyder, all right, is the head of that crew. He's responsible.
No, the EPA issues rules and regulations
Okay.
that everybody
And
has to
Flint
follow.
hasn't followed them.
Okay.
Because if they had been followed them, we wouldn't be having this
See,
discussion.
nobody's ever given us what the concentrations of these various pathogens that cause her sickness. We don't know what they are. And yet the federal government has issued limitations on those. We don't know enough about the process to make statements
They
like
should
this.
have had experts, all right, on the scene right from the beginning. All right, scientists, whatever it takes, to make sure that's their responsibility.
I
all
agree.
right, that's the city's responsibility to
Right.
make sure that they protect their citizens.
The research process
All right.
should have been much longer.
Okay,
Yeah, but the EPA should come in and they can sue. The EPA can.
well, they're here
demand-
now.
Yeah. If we have a problem with our water and they need to tell us that we're not following standards.
And that's
I
they're
think they've
saying that
already
now.
said
Yeah.
that.
They're
They're
saying
saying
That's why they
already
sent
now.
out the notice, is because we
Okay.
have to be notified that it does not meet the
Well, they've
standard.
advised you to boil your water, but
But
that's
this
to kill
time it's not
bacteria.
but this
That's
is not
to-
boiling. This time they're not asking you to boil the water. They're letting you know that the levels are not right.
Okay, then that's their job, to let us know when the levels are not right. We
And
just
it's their
should not
job
go out
to
and
protect the
assume.
citizens of this city. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, that is their job. That is their responsibility.
You know what?
Whose job?
And I certainly agree with you, Ron, but you know what? I even take it a step further. And you're dealing with the water issue, but I think it's all about Flint in terms of having an industrial complex here for so many years and how it has probably just corroded and, you know, basically messed up this whole system. I always tease my husband and I tell him toxic waste dump is what Flint has become because of all of the toxins and things that are in the ground, and certainly is going to be affected. The water is going to be affected. Our air is affected. I mean, if they do research in the future and start looking at the number of people who have left here because of a cancer, the cancer rate here in Flint is very high, and I know that there has to be a correlation between what has happened, this industrial complex that was here. And thankfully, I mean, it offered jobs, but then you have to look at risk and benefits, okay? And then they move out, and they don't prepare the people for that move, physically for that move. And, you know, that thing has affected us in so many areas, and water is just one of the areas that it has affected people. But I think that the air that we breathe, I mean, you just look at it from an ecological standpoint. We have been affected, and I know it was from industry.
Flint,
Well-
Michigan has become a toxic dump.
well, I don't know whether we can go through all of that. We have no evidence to prove that.
We got
We
all the
still-
evidence. We got all the
we-
evidence.
We
that
have all
need.
of the technology that we need to correct the problem. We don't need to just go over the edge.
And you got
We have
5
the technology.
universities here in Flint.
Yes.
All right. Okay. How come they couldn't pick the brightest minds, or why couldn't they, you know, go to the CDC or something? You know what I mean? And get the brightest minds to come in here, scientists and what have you, before they opened up the floodgates to send this tainted water, you know, here. All right.
Well, Ron, we were making
and
so
this
much-
shit has been going on. All right. I mean, for how many months now?
Quite a
Ron,
few.
we've been
Quite a few.
complaining about water rates rising.
No, we're talking about.
beyond
I don't
bounds,
give a
okay?
I don't give a shit
The
about
city has
rising.
tried-
I'm concerned about the health of the people
But-
in this city.
But the people are the ones that are concerned about the rising rates. If you
Of
want,
course.
and you want results right away, you're not going to get results
Well,
right
now
away.
they're concerned about their health because
No.
now you have to think about the people that can't protect themselves. That's the seniors.
That's right.
Because when the seniors are drinking, because now you said that they can just buy bottled water. Well, that's easy for us to say because we still have a steady income.
Right.
They are on a fixed income, and so they're paying most of their money on these high water rates. So they don't have
But
extra
you only
money
think-
to turn around because we have the highest water rates in the county, the worst water, but the highest water rates.
And-
So they're spending 197 plus on water rates if they live in a house. They don't have extra money to go buy bottled water.
Yeah, but the average rate of consumption for the average person is 27 gallons a day.
Which equals
27 gallons.
197 a
And
month.
only a person, yeah.
I've had
That's
several
for
That's
using
right.
the toilet, cooking, and everything else.
I've had several people.
27 gallons a day.
I've had several people call me and say that they're paying over $300 a month for water, for tainted, cancerous causing water.
Yeah. And I've read that.
Now, what kind of foolishness is that? You're gonna pay. I'm gonna pay my money so that I can drink your shit that's gonna kill me.
But the city of
Uh-uh,
Flint
I ain't
has
buying
reduced
that, no.
the water rates by $53 and some cents because of poverty rates. Those people who are in the city
When
now.
did you
When
get
did they
that?
do
I
that?
just read that today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they reduced it today because
Yeah.
as of the last
They hadn't.
bill,
They,
it hadn't happened.
it has. You can go on the internet or Google the rates,
Mhm.
and they'll show that the rates have been reduced by $52.15, I believe.
Okay.
But that's to give some relief to those residents that you're talking about. But the real problem that we got to deal with is to get rid of the fecal coliform that's in the water, because that's the big one, and the reduction of chlorine. But that takes a long time to go through and moderate systems to produce that kind of water.
Well, they said they're going to pay somebody to come in and to analyze that.
Well, this is the EPA's problem.
Well, they're no emergency manager said they're going to hire a consultant.
But you still gotta meet EPA regulations.
Right, I'm just saying from the city of Flint, they
Yeah.
said they're getting ready to hire somebody, so that's more money that
And-
we're gonna
and
pay
the
for.
DNR and the
Who's gonna
EPA
eat that cost?
We got,
We will, and the higher water rates,
Right,
that
right.
$52 that you just
Yeah.
mentioned, that's
That
probably
was
gonna
his
go back,
salary.
it's going back.
I don't know how that's gonna go, but
His
we
salary.
already have systems at the state level and the federal level to deal with this.
You know, I have a question. In my opinion, I think somebody's got paid off. All right.
Don't
to
overreact,
hook.
Ron.
I'm not overreacting. All right. I think somebody got paid off to hurry up and open this water line up. You know what I mean? And connect it to the Flint.
It was
All right.
predicted that we would have problems with this,
Okay.
with Flint River
All right.
water for a while.
And in my opinion, all right, that idiot mayor and that idiot EM, all right, they're responsible, and Snyder is responsible for this fiasco. Okay? He directs them to. All right? They don't make a move, all right, without his say so, okay? Because 2 years ago, when Walding was up for election, all right, Gerald Buchanan was up for election for mayor, all right. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all right, Snyder sent his stoolies, all right, and stopped the election, all right. So, what the point I'm trying to make is that the governor's responsible, Walding's responsible, and Early is responsible for this fiasco, this irresponsibility. All right, because they're here on the local level. They're the one. They're the one that made these decisions. They're the ones that are probably behind sending out these notices to folk. All right. And in mark my words, as we're sitting here on January the 10th, 2015. Okay. Flint's going to go bankrupt because of all the lawsuits that they're going to get. Okay? They're going to pay. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Billions of dollars.
That they
Well,
don't have.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
But,
No, I
there's
can't-
places in, there's money in place, as you said. There's money in
Yeah,
place. that
yeah.
we can get.
But Ron, we need to make sure that we don't react as citizens in this town. We need to let the government do its job. The EPA, hang on.
Okay.
The EPA do its job. Let the State of Michigan Water Resources Division do its job, and the purveyor of city water, which is the city of Flint. They need to do their job.
But if
We
you
need
don't,
to step
you're getting
back.
the outcry from the citizens. Hey, help us, help us,
But
help us.
they're
help
doing
us.
the best they
and they're
can.
not, and those people that
This
are
is the
making the
crisis.
decisions aren't helping at all. Okay,
But listen, when I think about this water crisis, I think about what happened with Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
Those people that were in that stadium and different places like that, they were suffering and they wanted emergency help. And that help was being, it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault. Somebody dropped the ball over here. But in
Passing
the
the ball.
meantime, the people are suffering. And so right now you have people receiving a notice, and as has already been stated, we know that the elderly are going to be impacted, and we also know the children, because the children don't have any control.
But that is not the conversation on the surface. The conversation on the surface is the price of water rates.
no, the
No.
conversation.
Yeah, that's the
new-
surface.
that's the new conversation.
No, that's the
Conversation.
conversation.
No, the
price of
conversation
water rates.
originally was
Yeah.
The
about
water.
the water
And it's
rate.
still
And
that today.
It was
No.
originally about the water rates, but now the water is tainted, it's not
Right, that's the
drinkable,
new
and
conversation.
people are getting sick.
But who said so?
The conversation
sent
The
us
is,
government
notice.
said so.
They
co-
sent the
The
notice.
government
The
said it
government
was.
may have said
The
it.
government said
the
so, that
government
the water
may
was
have
tainted.
said it to make it official, but
Okay,
people
and
were
we're
already
now-
aware.
Now
That's
we're
right.
running in all kind of directions, out of control.
No,
The
we're
con-
not out
the
of control. Ain't
conversa-
nobody out of
the
control.
conversation-
Why are we out of control?
Not out of control.
The
We
com-
need to think this through and let government do its job.
We waited.
Government can slow the process down, and as Ron had mentioned, is that people will get sicker. Some of them may end
And
up
they're doing
leaving
everything
here.
they can to alleviate
No,
the
they're
problem.
not.
You can believe that.
No.
You
There's
can believe
nothing
that.
in
We
place
can't
right
afford
now.
to have
They
people
said
sick.
this is what their solution was. According to they've been on the news. The solution right now is if you feel yourself getting sick, please seek emergency attention right
Right.
away.
Yeah.
That's all you have to offer us.
yeah.
Then send those Obama healthcare dollars.
Okay.
And, and also the conversation is between Walling and Erling, how do we cover our ass? Okay?
Do we have the
See.
solution to the problems now, the four of us? Do we know what to do? No, we don't.
My 13-year-old daughter knows what to do. You know what I mean?
Well, we need to go down and tell the mayor what to do and the governor and the EPA what to do.
I kind of go with what Denise is saying. It's kind of like the Katrina. We have to look at these State of Union addresses where Snyder is telling everybody in Michigan, except City of Flint, that there is a surplus. Well, we would like to see the surplus come and rescue us.
You're not
from
going
all
to
of
use the
these-
surplus here.
Well, I don't want to hear that. I want
No,
to hear
you're
that you're
not
going
gonna-
to use that surplus to rescue us from some of these problems. You didn't rescue us when we had problems, unemployment. You didn't rescue us. You didn't rescue us. So now this is a perfect time for you, Governor Snyder, to rescue the city of Flint from the water problems.
What?
And Henry Hatter supports it.
And what
Yeah.
what an
On that note,
unrealistic
yay.
approach. What an unrealistic approach.
Huh?
You got 9 million people in Michigan, and you say, well, come here and take care of 90,000 people.
Well, you haven't done anything else for Flint.
That's
What-
not realistic.
Why do all of these issues seem to impact urban minority communities? Why?
Well,
They
it,
pick- they pick-
it has
they
nothing
pick-
to do with
Sure it
minorities.
does. You can't tell me it doesn't.
No, it
all
does
right?
not. I don't
Okay?
agree with that.
All right, just like the emergency managers in all of these urban cities. All right, now, like you were talking about Katrina in New Orleans, urban. All right, what was it? 70% African American. Okay,
But, Ron-
no help. Okay, I can't help but think that racism is raising its ugly head somewhere.
Ron,
all right,
Please.
get rid of the color folks. All right.
That's Ron. Let me make it clear. That has nothing to do with it. The city of Flint is an old city with old infrastructure. The infrastructure's been here for years and years and years. Now that's breaking down. It just so happens that African Americans are living here in the city in concentrations greater than they were in 100 years ago or 50 years ago. So, but it does not mean that it's racist. It means that it's the consequence of the time.
I agree with you, Henry, on that note. I really do. And the infrastructure, of course, is going to have to be, changed, upgraded, and all of that. And in the meantime, the people suffer. So I think it's really incumbent upon the administrators, EPA, whoever you want to name, to help the people in their dire strait. There has to be a remedy. Yes, we at the table here don't have the answers to it, but they do.
Why don't we invite Governor Wallace here to
Governor Wallace.
Who?
Yeah, why don't
I'm
we?
sorry.
Who?
Governor
The most racist,
Walling, I'm sorry.
governor
Yeah, he
in
gone.
the
He's
land.
gone anyway.
I take
Huh?
it back.
He gone.
Walling. Why don't we invite him to the show and discuss
Mayor
this with us?
Walling?
Mayor Walling. Why not?
He that would be fine, but he's not gonna
Oh,
come
one
here.
of his
And I
surrogates.
wouldn't allow his ass to come in here and tell all them damn lies either.
That's all right.
I
The
tell him
people
flat
don't
out,
mind
look,
it.
stop
Let the
them
people
damn
decide.
lies.
Let the people decide
You know what I mean?
whether he's lying or not. Why not just bring him on the show?
Okay. We can, that's fine. Wally, you listening? Come on, buddy. I got something for your ass.
Well, he can send the director of the water division here.
Or
Well, he's just another
representation.
flunky for the city, so
Well,
he ain't
but-
gonna do nothing but echo what.
We gotta hear
what-
something,
what
though.
Erling.
We could gotta hear something,
I
Ron.
think in all fairness,
You are,
that
boil the water.
we should have somebody here, and maybe they
That's
can
an
enlighten
authority.
us.
Yes.
Enlighten us. Okay?
I can
Well,
get
that's
him.
fine. As
I
long
can
as
get
they
a
don't-
Well,
person.
Henry said he can get him, and we will
Okay,
respectfully
just
let
long
you
as
get
Yes.
him.
as long as they
But
don't
I
try
want
to-
you to treat him with respect and
Just as long as
dignity.
they don't spin us. Let me just say this here, Kate. Shout out to Eric Mays, Flint City Council member. Thank you for exposing the citizens of Flint about this contaminated city drinking water. I know you've been catching a lot of hell from those folk down there at City Hall, including some city council members, wanting you to go along to get along. Be your own man. Be your own man, buddy. All right? This has been one heck of a conversation. I want to thank our millions of viewers worldwide for tuning in. I want to thank my cast of
We'll invite
professionals
Jeff
here.
Wright here next meeting, okay?
All right.
Cast of characters.
Yes.
This is Ronald B. Robinson and friends for the In My Opinion show saying stay focused.